the floor for you, but I felt free the second that you left the room. I'm taking back my life. All you did was use it. You break it, you lose it. Sorry, your time is up. Now I'm coming back to life. I'm taking back my life. Sorry, your time is up. Now I'm coming back to life. Now I'm coming back to life. You're too late, begging on the floor for me. I'm not the same. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. I'm taking back my life. All you did was use it. You break it, you lose it. Sorry, your time is up. Now I'm coming back to life. I'm taking back my love. Sorry, your time is up. Now I'm coming back to life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to BenchFreq. I'm Carl. That's Sahaj. In one of these directions, I'm really bad at pointing on stream. Um, we've got a bunch of ARM stuff to do this week, which will be exciting. But just as we were getting started, Sahaj and I were both talking about how we were fighting with via C3 systems. So he's got one behind him that he was fighting with. What were you fighting with that for? Before I get into what I was
Uh,
fighting with mine for?
I IDE support.
Oh.
So my last IDE CD drive just died,
Oh no.
and I had a SATA one lying around.
Mm.
So it installed XP fine,
Yep.
but then the way FreeBSD's drivers are written, and even NetBSD at Redboard, it completely messed when it tried to mount the live root file system over the CD drive. So
Oh.
the ID to SATA converter failed there. For whatever even reasons, it's such a weird issue because that thing works just fine with XP. XP is happy with it.
Hmm.
Um, and I did conclude that that is the issue because after a lot of tries, after switching a lot of SATA to ID converters, and everyone just having the same issue, same boot disks, same everything, I now have it over USB to SATA,
Okay.
and it works.
And it works.
The problem is
It's
that that
slower
thing
than
has a
garbage.
yeah, that thing has a USB 2, but
Uh,
when it's booting on BIOS, it's USB 1.0, so it's a
ooh.
few kilobytes. And it took like an hour to boot FreeBSD to the install screen you can see behind me,
Yeah.
which usually with discs is like with DVD is like 5 minutes. And the reason
Yeah.
I had all this DVD setup is because a live USB disc would take so long,
Mm.
and now it just negates all of that. So unless I find like a really high quality converter or something like that, this is what's going to be on it. Luckily
Okay.
it's not something that I use regularly or even semi regularly, like the P4 sitting beneath it.
Right.
So it's not that much of an issue,
Fancy.
but yeah, that was an issue.
Um, my via C3 shenanigans this week is one of my customers at the data center did an upgrade from Debian 10 to Debian 11, and it didn't go well for them, and so they needed remote access to the system. And I was like, oh, that's actually hard at the moment because I'm in the process of like swapping out routers and switches, and like there's not enough ports of the right kind, and I've got parts sitting on my coffee table to fix all of it, and all of that's going to get installed on Monday, but we needed to fix this earlier than that. So I have an old Open Gear IPKVM, which works fairly well. It's got a VGA port, and to show you how old this is, it has PS2 mouse and keyboard connectors on it. But I have an adapter that will let you plug in a USB thing, and then it all just works, which is great. The
Funny
downside
thing
is,
about that,
yeah, the
it's not
down,
USB.
yeah, the downside of it is that the software that's on it requires Java no later than Java 7 with the browser plugin. And I was like, oh no. So I went digging around and I had this old VIA C3 ZBox Nano. It's a 32-bit processor. And I was like, this will be fine. Like, I'll put a 32-bit version of like XP or Windows 7 on it. I already have an old Java 7 installer. It's not even the latest one. You can't find the Java 7 installers anymore because they are outside of support and contract only. So Oracle has removed them from the web, but I have a couple. And you can go download like Firefox ESR53. That still has plugin support. So put all that in, and then like tried to figure out operating system updates, which is always hysterical. Um, I like Windows Update was like I can't there are updates, but I can't do them. And I was like, okay, that's bad. So my usual fix for that is like it's not really a big deal because it's on a firewalled network and it just needed to like connect to a firewall network to get out to the internet, and then I have a piece of software on it called Remote Utilities for remote desktop access, and like that's all secure and fine, and like I don't care about putting a Windows 7 thing on a NATed Wi-Fi connection to the internet, but still wanted to put the updates on it because why not? So my normal go-to for problems like this is to go download WSUS offline and have it do its thing and then just run that. WSUS Offline doesn't support Windows 7 anymore either. They've removed the ability to download all of the Windows 7 updates. But fortunately, some kind soul uploaded the last complete update set to archive.org as ISO images. And so I downloaded those and got all that done. It only took a day and a half, 17 reboots, but it worked. And yes, that poor thing, oh man. It hard locked at one point because it sounded like a jet engine, and so I went into the BIOS and changed the fan settings. And you can't change the fan settings in Windows; you have to do it in the BIOS. And it's got you set the starting temperature and you set the max temperature. Excuse me, you set the starting fan speed, and then you set the temperature at which the fan should be 100%. And then there's a poorly labeled thing that is some sort of curve multiplier thing, and it was set to 4. And I was like, this sounds like a jet engine. It's driving me nuts. So I turned it down to 1, and the fan didn't go over like 1800 RPM, and the processor hit like 95C, and I was like, this is bad. But then bumped it up to 2, and it's much happier. It sits at around 2500 RPM most of the time. The processor stays nice and cool, and it doesn't sound like a jet engine. So, yeah, VSC3s, wonderful, horrible things. Sometimes they serve their purpose, though.
Half clock FPUs? No, actually, 2 clock FPUs.
Yeah, something like that. Like they're rough. So in any case, this is not our normal week. Sahaj had a thing last week, and then I forgot that I have a thing next week. So we decided to do this week, and we're still working on our post-production process of getting videos to places where people can see them when they're not live, because I don't think anybody's watching right now, but that's fine. And in the meantime, we do have some things to work on. So I'm going to go jump over here a little bit and show some of what I'm doing. Actually, I don't want that. Yeah, let's turn that off. So Sahaj, as you can see on his screen, let me switch over there. All right, now people can hear us again. So what I was telling Sahaj that he has gotten an unfortunate NVMe drive, and he was saying that it's the cheapest one, and I said yes it is.
So it's the exact same price as a 128 gig SanDisk SD card.
Nice. Yeah. I just let me flip over to my thing here. So you're working. So that's an Nvidia Zephyr, right?
Yes, that's an
cool.
AGX.
AGX, awesome. I have a Jetson Nanao, which is the lower end version of that. Right here. Let me try and hold it up a little bit so you can see more and get it out of the way of the overlay that I have of Sahaj. And what I'm going to try and do is get Plex Media Server running on this, and see how it goes. I just finished deploying Plex at a relative's house, and it's fine for there. I have another relative's house that I need to deploy Plex at, and they're space constrained. They're noise constrained, like all this other fun stuff. So having this as opposed to having a big old machine with a GTX 1050 in it seems like the way to go, if this will get the job done.
Does this have NVEC?
I believe it does.
Okay.
That's the reason why I was going to look at
it. It would do decode and encode. I know that, but like
Yeah.
Would it do for like multiple streams, or is it like limited to a number of
It's,
streams?
I mean, much like the 1050, it's probably limited to one or two, and I don't
Okay.
care.
Mhm.
It'll get the job done. And then the primary thing that I need the encode for is at both of these locations. One of them already has an HD home run, and then excuse me, yeah, HD home, yeah, it's an HD home run, which is a if you're unaware, it is a. Let me see if I can find a. This is what I want. Uh, Actually, that's not what I want. That's weird. Hang on. I thought I had a. No, I don't. Okay, let's fix that. Um, what I am an HD home run. This will work. Look at us moving around Windows. It's so exciting. It's fine. I'm not upset at all. That's what I want. Okay. And then if I push this, and then if I press that button, hey, look at that. So I don't want that making any noise. Wonderful. So the HD home run is this little box, and I do mean little, like it's about that big, and antenna port, Ethernet port, and it will stream over the air television over RTSP, RTMP, one of the two. Plex understands it, can get the guide data for it, the whole nine yards. You plug one of these into the network, you tell Plex about it, and you get a full-blown DVR for over the air, which is great. So I have one here at my place. The family members up in about an hour north of town in Temple,
Mhm.
they have one as well, and they've got that GTX 1050. And then another family members up in Massachusetts, the plan is to put one up there as well. The HD home run doesn't do any transcoding. So all of the stuff that comes out of the over-the-air broadcast is what Plex receives and what Plex stores and all of that fun stuff. And in the United States, that winds up being MPEG-2 at 19 megabits a second. Until, because I assume all of your stuff is DVB, DVB-T, DVB-S, DVB-C. You have no
For what?
idea? For like cable TV and over-the-air broadcasts and stuff like that.
We, I don't know because cable TV is mostly dead. We have satellite TV. I'm
Right.
entirely not sure what we're running on
So
that.
basically, all satellite is DVB-S now. So I would be
Okay.
surprised if you're doing anything other than that.
Okay.
I know most of Europe and most of the rest of the world, with the exception of North America and a couple countries that we've colonized, are using DVB because it's vastly superior to anything that we have come up with. DVB-T is digital video broadcast. The T is for terrestrial. The S variant is for satellite. The C variant is for cable. The thing that the DVB standard did in the 90s that was brilliant is that you have the concept of a channel, which is basically a chunk of frequency space. And then decoupled from that is whatever codec you put on top of it. In the United States, we couple the transport mechanism and the codec. So you can't separate them apart. So with all the DVB stuff overseas, when they decided to switch from analog DVB to so analog DVB being hey, it's just 4:3 content, like a standard definition. That's a better way of putting it. Standard definition to high definition. It was really easy to do the transition from standard to digital because there were already codecs in place. They were crummy. They were MPEG 1, but they were there. We did the same thing with our cable system. And most cable systems in the United States are also DVB-C. They just don't let you know that because we do stupid things. With the DVB standard, you can swap out the codec. So you can there's a card in it that you can swap out and swap in, and that card can enable new codecs. So there was an update about 10, 15 years ago that put in MPEG-2, H.264, fun stuff like that, and then they could clump together the old DVB channels that were designed for MPEG-1 standard definition video or MPEG-2 standard definition video. They can clump those together into virtual channels to make an HD channel. And recently, there's been an update that you can clump them together to make, and then use HEVC or H.265 to make 4K and 8K channels. In the United States, we can only do 1080i, 720p, or 480i over the air with the system we have called ATSC. So each channel is allocated 19 megahertz of bandwidth. You can split it up into multiple things. It's MPEG-2 transport stream. It's MPEG-2 video.
I think,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think that's what we sort of copied over for the most part, because and the reason is because we only got 1080i, but now I'm also guessing whether it's just because the content was available in 1080i,
Could be that.
and that's how it got streamed over.
So,
Because when we got the first HD TV, like full HD TV broadcast setup box,
yeah.
it was 1080i on the channels that it got 1080i, but it reported as 1080p for a lot of the other things.
Right.
And till the time we had that box, because we moved over to internet very quickly, till the time we had that box, those like only the English or the international channels were there in full HD.
Interesting. Maybe it is ATSC over there. I'll have to go look it up when I'm not when we have a second to break. So in any case, when we switched over from analog to digital, this was the digital switchover, which happened in like 2002, and that was great. It now gives us the ability to do the digital stuff, which is wonderful. I want to see if there's a map on here. There was a map for the NTSC stuff, but I don't see it. Oh, here we go. According to Wikipedia, you are using DVB-T as you should be. It's only the United States and Canada that continues to be dumb. So we had the digital transition. Everybody had to get a box because older TVs, of course, didn't have the electronics. The newer TVs don't have the stuff to receive the analog transmission, so like you can't plug your original Nintendo into a modern TV because there's literally no way for it to understand the signal because it's all analog and everything's digital now. So we're now in the process of getting ready for digital transition 2.0 here in the United States, where everyone's going to switch from ATSC to ATSC 3.0. No one knows what happened to ATSC 2, but we're going from ATSC to ATSC 3. ATSC 3.0 is not backwards compatible with ATSC because, of course, it's not. Requires everyone to get new converters again. Still doesn't abstract the protocol from the transport mechanism, but uses the same encoding mechanism. So it's still that 19 megabit stream, but now, and it's still MPEG-2 TS, but now it's HEVC, and you can either get 4K or 1080p, and that's it. None of the 480i stuff is supported anymore. 720p is gone. All you get is 1080 and 4K. And there's like 5 markets in the United States that have this, and like 3 TVs that support it. And they're planning on switching everything over in like the next 5 years, I think. And I'm just like, oh my god, shoot me now. But in any case, because of this, the over-the-air stuff right now is all MPEG-2, and of course, like, nothing does hardware MPEG-2 acceleration anymore, because everything is geared towards H.264. So the reason why I want this with the NVENC stuff in it is because Plex needs to transcode this from MPEG-2 to H.264 so that your, in one case, another one of these as an Nvidia Shield Pro, or a Roku can then play back the video. So I don't care that it's limited that way. All of the stuff that I can push to it, like downloaded videos and stuff like that'll just stream through no problem because the local device is on a wired Ethernet connection. The bandwidth doesn't matter. The codecs all line up. It'll just work. But I do need the transcoding for the TV stuff. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So that's one of the things that I was going to futz with today with you. And then the other one is I have resurrected our old friend, the LeMaker cello. And ironically, the reason why I resurrected it and why I was laughing about your SSD choice is because, oh, looky here. So this is a Patriot Burst SSD, which if I'm going to turn this into a build node, I should really get rid of. And I should also not have this, sitting on top of bubble foam and styrofoam as its mounting mechanism. So that's part of what I'm going to work on there, is just make this a little better. I did replace the fan with this little 80 millimeter one because the one that was on there sounded like a jet engine, and this is significantly better. So that's what I'm going to be futzing with while you're futzing with things. So what do you got?
Basically installing the SSD on this, maybe talking a bit more about the thing itself.
Cool.
Um, yeah, I
I
was
know very little
so
about the Zephyr, so I am excited to learn more.
yeah, so sort of a quick recap on last week's episode. I have an update. I was making that quadrature decoder thingy on the FPGA
Yeah, how'd
on
that
this.
go?
Um, I found out I was on in like a parallel fashion. I was also moving towards a new MCU for the entire project, which is
Okay.
this one. This is the Teen Z4.
Ah,
It
yes.
has the IMX RT1060.
A lovely piece
No,
of hardware. Yeah, that thing is super beefy.
yeah, that's a beefy sock. It runs at like 600 megahertz and has like
Yeah.
a full proper FPU.
Yes.
So and it's basically ARM v7M. So Cortex M7 ARM v7M. So it might even be faster than the OG Pi, like memory aside.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, so this thing has an inbuilt quadrature decoder timer.
Okay.
I'm not sure how well it's interfaced um, with Zephyr, but
Okay.
basically the logic I was building into the FPGA is already on here. So I've sort of put
Ah,
this thing into pause till I can figure out if its hardware is usable for my use case or not.
got
So
it. That's a Layerscape chip from NXP, I think.
that's
The
IMX
teensy.
Layerscape,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's an
But they're
IMX.
using
Okay, that is
no,
actually
yeah,
different
yeah,
than a
not
Layerscape.
not an LS, an IMX.
Okay. I
Um,
thought one of the teensies had an
it's
LX, but maybe I'm mistaken.
no one of the earlier ones did.
Ah,
The thing
they've
with
moved
the
on.
new IMX RT stuff is that they've removed all the older IMX IP from the microcontroller stuff, and they've added or I don't know if it's a rebrand or a redesign, but it looks like a redesign because the drivers are new. They've added something called the Flex series of IPs into this, so
Yeah, yeah.
all your timer stuff is on Flex Timer, Flex SPI, Flex
I actually know a little bit
PSM.
about that. So, yes,
Ooh,
you
let's
are
go.
correct. That is a redesign because part of what NXP is doing is that they've created this thing called the chassis. And that's what they're moving everything to. And this is also part of their RISC-V strategy. Um, so, the idea is to make all of the parts of the sock sans the actual CPU cores, and they're calling
Mhm,
that the chassis. And then they can
mhm.
just put different CPU cores in it to play with. And this was something that they announced at the RISC-V Summit 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and we were all very excited because because of the wording. It was like, oh yeah, it's a way for you experiment with RISC-V and all this fun stuff. And I was like, ooh, this sounds great. And then I went and talked to them, and they're like, oh yeah, no, it's a bunch of internal SOC or EDAC tools and things like that. None of this is going to be like publicly accessible and yada yada yada. But it's a complete framework. It's a complete paradigm shift for us. And I was like, okay, well, you'll have fun. I can't wait to buy something from you someday. Good old NXP.
Uh, yeah, because the way they've connected the Flex stuff into or like integrated into the newer IPs on the MCU side, a bunch of new IMX RT stuff has been launched.
Yeah,
It's basically generic. It's like porting for STM32 part,
yeah.
which is basically let's port the core, which is not like the core. Like you can porting an STM32 MCU to Zephyr is basically can be done in a few lines of diff,
Got it.
because everything's reused. It's like, ooh, let's move this Cortex M4 into an M3 or an M7 depending on how we want, and everything
Yeah,
else
because
is
everything
basically we
else is
have
the
more.
same. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
swapping out the cores, and NXP is trying to
yes,
follow up on that. That's
yeah.
that's cool. I like the idea. I hope it takes off, and I hope it works out well for them. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, as far as the teensy is concerned, it's working well.
Yeah. Well, that's so
I
much better with proper standoffs on it.
Yeah. The
Let me shuffle some stuff
the
around so I can actually show it to you if you're curious.
Okay.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Right, the AGX is like super busy underneath, and that's
Oh dear
sometimes
God, yeah, it is.
what sort of gives me the you have standoffs, but like just have a backplate or something. But like the fun part is they have a Wi-Fi thingy, Wi-Fi M.2 slot here,
Yeah.
and these are power and LED headers, and this is a standard ATX audio header.
Oh, an audio header, not a front panel. Interesting.
No, so that's the front panel, but that's just power reset LED,
Okay.
no hard drive LED, and the layout is a bit different. But that's a standard audio header.
Cool. That's neat.
Um, they have an experimental UEFI CPI right bootloader.
Shocking.
I don't know if you knew that.
I I'm not surprised. I remember hearing about that. Because I've when you say they, we of course mean Andre, right?
No, no, no.
No,
I
it's
mean
not. It's not
Nvidia.
Andre this time.
It's Nvidia official. That's the surprising part.
That is surprising.
And I have good sort of source that tells me that they're working with a lot of Linux providers under NDA to get it working fully, including the entire CUDA stack on that ACPI bootloader, and
Ah,
sort of
so
even
it kind of
ditch
sounds
their
like
own.
this is the no, really, we're going to play nice if we own ARM play, which is fine. Um,
Yeah.
hey, on that note, um, I think I know what's wrong with all of my Sci-Fi Unmatched stuff. So as it turns out, the bootloader is working fine. The device tree is doing what it's supposed to. Um, Someone pointed out on the Sci-Fi forums, it's like, you're running a kernel that has all of Sci-Fi patches in it, right? And I was like, oh. So
That
I was hoping that Marcin was going to be here today. Oh, hey, people have shown up in chat, and I
Yeah,
missed it because the chat thing um, did not update for me. I apologize. Uh,
David W is in town.
he is. He's on chat too. It's all very exciting. Um, yes, we did have an audio missing earlier. I am super sorry about that. I think I now have all the correct things and the correct scenes. We were having serious audio problems before the stream started, so apologies. Please wave your hands wildly in chat if you cannot hear us. Now that I'm actually looking at the right thing. Um, uh, Ed wanted to say that the DVB-T dongles that are available in the cheap SDR dongles in the US are actually DVB-D dongles. Yes, they are, and you can also use them for doing ATSC. You just have to have the CPU horsepower to deal with all of that lovely, lovely MPEG-2, which Um, uh, so yeah, like I said, I was hoping that Marcin was going to be here because I was going. He is our friendly neighborhood Fedora expert, and the thing that I was going to ask him was, I kind of, sort of, vaguely remember in the depths of my brain we had a thing called K package in Debian, which makes it relatively simple to apply additional patches to the default Debian kernel. And I wanted to know if there was something like that for the Fedora
Look at the pin
ecosystem.
count.
Yeah, that's a what are those FPC
That's
connectors?
Yeah, those are like 600 pins or something like that.
Yeah, that's a bit intense.
Yeah.
So the
Um.
the giant thing at the top is the actual module, and the rest of it is just the carrier board.
Yeah. And I have on good sort of pretense that that thing cannot be removed from the heatsink, and it's not meant to be. Um.
Mm,
The
thermally bonded to it or something.
not bonded, but like they have such good pressure on it,
Mm.
uh, and they've used thermal pads that it creates a vacuum.
Oh wow.
The one way, the only few people who've tried to, or not a few people, there was one group. They had to chop the heatsink off so that they can push it from the bottom out, from the
Yikes.
top to the bottom. Um,
Okay then.
and also like the fan um, wire is like super slim,
Hmm. Fascinating.
but
It has been so long since I've used this board. I don't even remember how to get a console on it. I think it's on this USB port. So now I got to find a cable.
now that I look at it, even the screws on the heatsink are like one of those security stuff. Of course, I have the bit for it, but
You're right. Yeah.
it's
Not
it's
sponsored.
not
Gotta love
about
iFixit.
yeah, but like it's not about that the bits. I don't have the bit for it. It's about if I see that screw, I'm like, let's not mess with it if I want
Yeah.
it to work, unless I know what I'm getting into,
Yes. Exactly. It's yeah. It's not that we look at that bit and go, oh no. It's that we look at that bit and go, oh no, for a different reason.
right?
Let's see here. Unplug the serial adapter from this poor network switch that I've been working on. So if I remember correctly, um, the PCI on the cello just flat doesn't work, like in any way, shape, or form, right?
No, because
Okay.
they fucked up the traces.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. The
Oh,
only
by the way,
yes.
this thing
Yeah.
is PCI 4.0.
That's not surprising. Um, that's kind of the hip thing to do right now.
It's an old design though. Like it's not something that released this year.
Okay. Well, I mean, PCI
So
Express
that's where
4
it
has
goes from.
actually been like that IP has been available for some time. It just hasn't made it into most desktop facing stuff. In fact, the stuff that's happening right now is PCI Express 5. Um, this is what I deal with a lot in my day job. So, yeah, we're looking forward to PCI Express 5 stuff because it's going to make our lives a hell of a lot simpler. And then the hope is CXL shortly thereafter. I think.
Wow. All right. So what I just realized
Uh oh.
is that this PCI M.2 mount
Yep.
does not have a bottom height clearance. So
Oh
usually they're
no.
a bit higher, and so luckily I don't have something because I bought the cheap stuff. I don't have something that
Does it
has
have
chips
anything in
on
the
the
back?
bottom. Yeah, so that sits flush and it's fine. But for anything else that might have chips at the bottom, maybe a larger 1 terabyte unit, it's going to be impossible to get that working.
Okay, good to know. What
That's
if you're
important.
getting one of these, you want to make sure you get a an NVMe drive that does not have anything on the bottom. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Or you have this pretty large
It's true.
thing to put many, many, many in the unit. Christ.
There's many things that you could do with that. All right, so the question now becomes, what happens if I just power this up? There is apparently a serial console on the USB port. We're going to find out what, if anything, it does in about 6 seconds.
By the way, you're not showing your bench if that's something.
Yeah, I know. It's putting my bench in the corner was going to be way too complicated with you showing stuff on your. Like, I figured it was just going to be way too visually busy.
Okay.
But that's fine. It's also kind of boring at
David,
the moment. So
yeah, David W is asking where do the Wi-Fi antennas go, and honestly, yes, I think they'll just be dangling. I don't have a good answer for that.
yeah.
It just snaps, right?
Okay. Oh right, there's a boot button. I remember now. Which
Oh, that
button
was
is the boot
my
button?
first gotcha for this board because this also has a proper boot button. Like
I hate
that's a
boot
thing.
buttons. All right, so it wasn't that one, was it?
Uh,
This one?
I wouldn't say I hate them. It's just it's a weird thing to have on an SBC because we are not used to it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, part of the reason why I said that is like I was going through some stuff um, for hosting company things, and I was trying to figure
Hmm.
out ways of uh, practicing what we preach. So
Uh huh.
what I mean by that is like we preach um, that you don't need giant servers. You can do everything with single board computers like ARM boards, which is not the end of the world, especially since like the ARM boards that we're planning on shipping are 4 cores, 8 gig of RAM, reasonable storage, like not exactly um, not exactly slouches in terms of their performance. But I still need the ability to move more than 1 gigabyte a second, or gigabit a second, I should say, on some networking applications and some storage applications and things like that. And so I was trying to come up with a way of dealing with that without using standard off-the-shelf PC hardware. And sadly, like one of the ways that you can do that is with our good friends Solid Run and the Honeycomb,
Yeah.
their Layerscape 2160A system. But the downside of that is you you have to press buttons on the board to get it to do anything. Like they haven't done any of the work yet for uh,
BMC.
the BMC. Like that's still incomplete
So I
and
think yeah, it's incomplete. Daniel Thompson from Nanao, I think, has his own open version of it. So
okay.
want to look into that? I'll try and grab a link for you.
That would be good to know. Oh, hey, I finally found the correct sequence of buttons to get the thing to boot. I should make sure that this is an appropriate. It should be 80 by 25, otherwise bad things will happen. Hey, look! It's Grub. Things are happening. All right. I do remember how to make this work. Actually, I should be able to make this 120 by 25 without it being too much of a problem. I even have a login prompt. Sweet. I don't know if it's. Well, let's find out what happens.
Ah, there it is. He calls it Tiny Manager.
Tiny Manager. Ooh, okay.
All right, so I don't entirely remember if it's for Etsy specifically or if it's just a general project he was doing. I'm just going to put it in the Twitch chat. I
I
don't.
appreciate that. I'll have to go do some digging on that. Also, I currently don't have one of those boards, but if maybe I can find out the information I need to know. Microcontroller for baseboard management. CDC device. UDEV
I don't
rules.
I don't understand why Nvidia sent this in the kit. Um, It's a header expander,
Had
sure.
probably just an extension so that you can
Yeah,
reach
but
those
like I would
pins.
have, I would have appreciated something that would was maybe a gender changer.
Hmm.
So more like this, so that instead of having to use the jumper cables that way, I had also the option to use the jumper cables
Yeah.
the other way.
I don't have
But
a good answer.
nah, I guess not even Nvidia has a good answer at this point. Um, I think for there's like a boot select switch. I don't know if it's that or what the heck is this jumper. It says 1 3 3v3 2 3 1v8. Oh, that's UR.
Oh, that's for switching your UART's voltage.
That's nice. Um, it just blows me away how busy that board is. Uh, yeah, maybe one day I'll get the Wi-Fi thing as well. Now we have to see if my operation even not kill this. Let me bring up the capture
Uh-oh.
card, and that should show us if it boots.
That'll be cool.
Where is my
My cello has booted,
HDMI?
but it does not like networking, uh, which is not a good sign.
Wasn't that your issue earlier as well? Like one of the first things you tried
I
to solve?
thought I thought I had the networking functioning correctly. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it just
Hey,
doesn't work
go
well on this board, and it'll work well on a different one.
time to go back to your own blogs.
Well, I did actually go look, and like one of the
So
things that was happening is
you
that
know,
they don't have a MAC address, but I've got software patches
yeah,
for that.
the recommended power supply for
Uh-huh.
this thing is 90 watts.
Wow.
You can go from 9 volts 10 amps to 20 volts 4.5 amps.
Holy cow.
They supply a 19-volt one. I'm guessing they're sort of getting them
Yeah,
from the
19 volt
same
was it's
place.
standard laptop power
Or
supply.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a nice little U with white LED. Or if anything shows up, it should show up on that black screen.
I'm waiting for it.
Somewhere. Uh,
Hey! Giant splash screen of something.
oh,
So,
it's our overlord.
oh, it's very tiny. Oh, I gotta move my head. How do I move my head? That's actually hard.
That's fine. That area would be of no use, so it'll boot up to a GUI. All right, so here's the Nvidia weirdness beginning.
Right.
It's running stock Nvidia firmware
Just get my head out of the
updated,
way for now.
obviously. Uh, what I'm also puzzling about is I don't. Oh crap! Wait, I need to grab the keyboard. Give me a second.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna see if my other uh, cello board has a functioning NIC, or if they're both now somehow dead.
Okay.
Find out in a moment.
What?
Urgh.
All right, I'm back,
You're
and
back. I'm just
here's the
ducking under the
Nvidia
table trying to grab
weirdness.
something. Yeah.
It's it's running 18.04 Ubuntu,
Right. It's probably
but they
Jetpack.
have
Yeah, it's the same Jetpack that's on the Nanos.
yeah, but they have the scripts written so old that they didn't even upgrade that to use GNOME. It's still using Unity, which was
Ugh.
phased out for 18.04.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Really?
sadly not surprised.
Alright, let's see if this is
I guess
available.
if this doesn't work, I could just plug in a USB NIC and I'd be okay with it. For something that's going to sit under my desk and compile stuff, it should be fine.
We have a 128 gig unpartitioned disk.
Hey!
Sweet.
And is it
Uh,
NVMe?
yeah, that's NVMe. NVMe 0 and 1. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was trying to
So,
find the device name on there, but of course, it's gparted and it puts it in the dumbest place possible. I was looking at the top of the window like a fool.
oh, it's not even G ported.
Oh, it's not?
It's GNOME disk utility.
Oh, right, which is even worse. Yes, because Gnome's entire philosophy in the universe at the moment is you don't need to know that.
Oh yeah, they're going so much the Mac and Windows way of let's hide
Even,
everything behind.
even worse than that. Like, I mean, I get some of the Mac. You don't need to know this, but like, Gnome is like you don't need to know anything. You don't need to know what the keyboard setting is. You don't need to know what the display
Where
resolution is. Like, we just take care of that for you. And it's like, no.
like they haven't even installed.
Any of the tooling? Yeah.
Ah, come on.
This is the reason why I was trying to get Debian or Fedora working on that Sci5 board. It's the same thing. Like, you can make an ext4 file system. I was like, yeah, but ext4 sucks, and we should really be using something other than ext4 at this point. And none of the other tools are there, and I really don't feel like re-spinning Open Embedded to put.
I think I think the reason my um I did tell you the entire data thing that happened a while last
Yes,
week, right? Yeah,
yes,
and I think the reason why it got saved was because I was running XFS and like the tooling was intelligent enough to like detect there was a file system somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Yes. My
Because I've had worse ext4 experiences.
huh. I have nothing bad to say about XFS, and I have been running XFS at this point for 15 plus years. Like, I ran XFS back in the days where you needed to get kernel patches from Concalavas, and in order to make all that stuff go, like, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about XFS. I haven't had anything bad to say about XFS for a long time. Murder FS, I have a lot of bad things to say about, but XFS is great.
What murder FS?
Uh, that'd be Riser FS.
Never ever heard of that.
Okay, good. Like,
It's not famous. What
remain
can
in
I
that
do?
world. You'll be happier there. Let
I've
me.
I've heard of all the Windows stuff. Then I've heard of EXTs,
Right.
XFS,
Yep.
ButterFS, ZFS, UFS on the BSD side,
Yeah.
and I think apart from that BOS stuff, and the other ones are a bit more rare.
Yeah. So Riser FS was made by a dude whose name I cannot remember in Russia, and it was basically like it was the Butter FS of its day. Um,
Hmm.
it has all the fancy features and all that fun stuff. Its primary competitor, well, that's interesting, was um, XFS, and XFS had come from SGI, and so it had a lot of the same problems that ZFS had when ZFS first came over. Like, XFS wanted its own block layer, and a completely different way of doing things. And like, there was a tremendous amount of code that came with XFS from SGI. And the kernel developers were not happy with it, which is why I wound up getting a whole bunch of kernel patches from Concalavas in order to get all that stuff figured out. Um, hey, this NIC works. Cool. I have one working board. The other one I can probably just plug a whatchamacallits, a USB NIC into, and it would be fine. I wonder if the problem is that I actually had a USB thing plugged in. Let's find out. um, so yeah, Riser being a completely Linux native thing, much like ButterFS is a completely Linux native thing. It was much cleaner from a, kernel integration standpoint, but they the company that was running the development of it had some interesting theories on how to make it work. So like the file system was in the kernel for free, no problem, but like the management tools and the recovery tools were pay for.
Hmm.
So like there was an FSCK that basically did nothing. And if you needed to do more than that, you had to go buy a support contract from the company that made RiserFS. And I was actually using RiserFS in production foolishly at the time.
Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah, and was running into file system corruption problems, and so I paid the support contract, which
Uh-huh.
wasn't outrageously expensive. It was like, you can do a one-time support incident for like $90, and I was like, okay, fine. So I paid the $90. This was for work, anyways. Paid the $90, and I was like, this is what I'm doing. What are the recovery tools? And they were like, oh, there are no recovery tools. Restore from backups. And I'm like, the what now?
Ooh.
Um, so that was the last time I used
um,
RiserFS.
yeah,
Yes.
on that note,
Yeah.
XFS
XFS not
module is
found.
not built.
Yeah. Yeah. XFS isn't compiled. This is common.
Like I can format a partition as XFS.
You just
But
can't use it. Yep. Yeah.
yes.
I was
Wait,
really
there's a good.
hoping, like really,
What?
really hoping that when um, CentOS and RHEL made the switch to XFS by default in
Mm-hmm.
CentOS 7, that this
Mm-hmm.
problem was going to go away, and it didn't.
Oh, the part of the problem that the module isn't built
Right. That's what I mean. Like
is
when CentOS
is
started making
this is
XFS when
this.
CentOS and RHEL started making XFS the default, I was expecting
No,
that everybody was going to start shipping it, and they don't.
see the kernel version.
Oh God.
4.9 does not have XFS as def config.
Um, I don't know if any kernel has XFS by default right now. Like maybe it does.
But still, yeah, like I don't think anything is shipping. I mean, I can just quickly do a
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
check.
go. I'm gonna go check. I have a way to do that. Let's see here. 4.19. Browse. Uh,
Well, ext4 it is for now.
File systems. XFS is in here somewhere. There it is. Kconfig. XFS file system depends on block. It doesn't have a default. So
Hmm.
I don't know if it's on by default or not.
No, no, no. You can go and check the ARM64 def config.
Oh, yeah. Good
Yeah.
point. Now I gotta remember where that is. Let's see here. It's in Arch?
Yep, arc ARM64 uh, config or def config directly or like configs and then def.
Configs.
Let's benchmark this.
You have,
Benchmark.
I apparently just off my computer because everything's robotic at the moment.
Oh, that it was the same on your end for a bit, but
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with my PC at the moment. I don't think I have anything running that shouldn't be. There don't appear to be any file systems defaulted in the def config for ARM64. So I'm gonna say, yeah, the whatever the file systems are flagged as default in kconfig, that's the defaults. That's crummy.
how do I not have a Linux folder?
This is also part of the reason why I wanted to ping Marcin and be like, hey, how do I apply patches to Fedora? Because I don't know. It makes me sad. And I really don't want to have to go figure out Fedora's kernel config because, oh god, it's probably terrible. I
It
know
is.
Debian's is like there's just so many options in it. That's what I mean by
No,
it's
no, no.
terrible.
RTOS is bad as well. Okay, so we that benchmark, that disk benchmark,
It's kind of funny.
2.8 gigs read, amazing, 600 some odd megabytes write.
You did buy a Patriot.
I did. I, I I didn't buy a Patriot. I bought what I could. I bought when I
You bought what you
sorted
could
things
get. No,
from
I
low to.
yes,
I
I
bought no.
understand.
I bought when I sorted things low to high, just for
Yeah,
lols.
yeah. To be perfectly honest, like that Plex server that I deployed yesterday, that has I think the same model Patriot SSD, and although it might have the 240 gig version as opposed to the 128 gig version, and yeah, it's perfectly fine reading, but it's slower than molasses when you try to write to it.
Mhm.
Um,
The I oh actually yeah, go on, sir.
oh my goodness, I didn't realize that I had installed Debian 9 on this, so I have a lot of upgrading to do.
Ooh. Wouldn't be installing Debian 10 and be faster?
No, probably not. Just because as I remember, the process of installing Debian on these was painful.
So, what was I talking about? Yeah, I did an interesting benchmark, which I thought would have a lot more impact than it actually did.
Okay.
Um, and I don't think I've not released this video yet, so this is the first time I'm telling anyone about it. I benchmarked NVMe
Uh huh.
versus SATA SSDs, like almost top-ish classes on both end,
Okay.
and then um, NFS storage over gigabit network
Oh.
on ZFS.
Uh huh.
Now this benchmark was building AOSP from source hosted on those drives.
Uh huh.
So this is the WD Black 570 versus WD Blue M.2 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte SSD on SATA,
Uh
uh,
huh.
M.2 SATA, and then my NFS storage. Both of these SSDs, so this is around 3.5 gigabytes still
Okay.
read write. The other one is 500 to 600, so whatever maxes out the SATA 3 spec. Both had exactly the same build time,
Interesting.
and the NFS had like double of that.
Huh.
Um, I expected NFS to perform much, 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 much worse, but it didn't.
Yeah. It's as it
Because
turns out, NFS is pretty decent.
yeah, because my last experience with building on a network drive was with Samba and on Linux,
Yes.
and so that's a lot of layers to go through. And that was like you run the lunch command, and the lunch commands in AOSP build is basically listing the menu of
Yep.
what devices you want to build. So it runs the build script in a way that it just lists the target.
Okay.
That usually takes less than a second.
Okay.
Um, that took about half an hour to run over Samba.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try and do it, and if it takes too long, it takes too long. We'll see.
Samba's
But yes,
really
it did.
bad. NFS is decent, but Samba's really bad.
Half of the reason Samba's bad is it's still single threaded.
Yeah.
So like Linus did that new home server build recently,
Yes.
and they installed Samba over Unraid
Yes.
because primarily uses Linux everywhere. I'm like, why you have so many cores?
I know. Like
But what else
I
are
was
you going to do
I
on
like
Windows? Sir?
that. Oh god, that storage server. Like I was just sitting there going, it's like that's garbage to you, and that makes me so bad. It's so sad because like I would love to have a server with half of the capabilities of that, and also the budget to put hard drives in it. Like really, that sponsorship from Kioxia is the thing that I really want.
Alright, so have you heard about Box 64?
I have.
So
Um,
someone figured out that the way things are compiled between x86 and ARM 64, x86 64 and ARM 64 is very similar with C, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. Maybe it's like the stacks are in the same manner or something like that. I'll have to read up,
sure.
but it basically makes it a very fast JIT.
Interesting. For just running x86 code.
Yeah, 64-bit x86 code.
Okay. So has anyone told Qualcomm about this? Like, is this going to make my yoga useful, or does it only work in Linux?
It's on Linux, I
Of course. All right. Well, I guess I could try and install Linux through WSL and then run all of my Windows stuff through Wine on WSL, and that also might be faster.
think.
Hashtag
Yeah.
bitter, not bitter.
I mean, the trick Apple did in the M1 to run x86 shit faster, you can't beat that. That's a hardware cheat.
Yeah, so I tell me about that because I didn't know what they did. Like I was surprised that all of their stuff is doing 64-bit, but I didn't understand how.
They basically have, uh, I don't know if it's virtually there's something doing inside the CPU in microcode or whatever. They have two different ways to access memory. With a
Okay.
single instruction mid execution, they can switch between how ARM accesses memory and how x86 accesses memory. So they do not
Wow.
have to emulate anything that has to do with moving ARM memory model to x86 memory model and then back. They
I
just switch to the x86 memory model in hardware, and that's it.
that is certainly one of the benefits of rolling your own silicon. Okay. I wonder if we're actually going to learn like what those things are,
Oh,
because
the
I would be
instruction's public.
yeah, I would be interested to
Like
see like
it's
if someone starts trying to implement that as a RISC-V extension. um, that would be
I
kind
mean,
of
you have
funny.
to get license from x86. I don't know if you do have to get license from
Yeah, so
x86
like so based
or
on
has
what
that
our
expired.
our, our dear friend and recently minted Googler has said,
Hmm.
um, I don't know. Depending like unless it's AVX 2,
No,
it's probably okay
hmm.
cuz all of those patents should have expired. But who knows? I mean, obviously Apple has some sort of fancy um, relationship with Intel that no one else can replicate because, like, they're still using frickin' Thunderbolt, and I don't understand how. Um, I mean, other than the fact that, like, they wrote half the specs. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, also very entertaining watching everyone whine and complain about Lightning on the new iPhone. And then everybody wanting it to be USB-C so that they can get the Thunderbolt stuff, and me laughing knowing that there's just not going to be any ports on the new iPhone.
Oh, I posted the same thing on Twitter, and my response was more towards what Europe is doing with forcing Type C on App or trying to force Type C for the iPhone, and it's
Yeah,
like
and
they're
the
just going
exception
to
is
remove
if you
it.
don't have a USB, if you don't have a port, then you don't have to have USB-C. And I was like, yeah, that's why it's going
Yeah,
to be that's why it's going to be portless.
and they are already doing high-speed data transfer on the watch wirelessly through the same
Yeah,
mega wireless charging mechanism.
I
So
I would expect them to do some sort of ultra wideband or millimeter wave
yeah,
thing before they
like
do
like
anything
for the
else.
headphones.
Yeah,
All right, will this work? I'm building the box thingy on the Jetson.
cool.
So, the Jetson, at least for Linux kernel builds, the Denver, the Carmel ARM v8.2 cores are not much faster or at all faster than the ARM v8.0 cores on the Honeycomb because it compiled
Right.
kernel with like two
I mean, they're
times.
they're probably both derived from like Cortex A72 or A73 or the Cortex A7 series more accurately.
Hmm. Which was that that Jetson that actually had the Denver cores that were Jet. They weren't regular ARM cores. They were more like the x86 cores, where Nvidia had their own thing in it.
Okay.
And Nvidia wasn't planning for running RISC-V on it. Nvidia was planning on running x86 on it,
Yeah.
and like on the microcode level. But they couldn't get the license from Intel at that time,
Yeah.
so they just switched the CPU onto ARM.
Yep. All right. So this doesn't exist anymore. There's no longer stretch updates, and the pathing for the security updates for Bullseye changed, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Uh, and I need to remember where I have a Bullseye box to go get it. Oh, I remember
Oh,
now.
go ahead.
I remember now. Yep, it's and I think it's just stretch hyphen security. No, sorry, Bullseye hyphen security.
All right, so it's installed, and I should be able to run x86 64 binaries on Linux binaries. So
Okay.
I don't even remember what's the best thing I should run. Uh, ooh,
Uh,
ooh. Let's do a performance comparison. Geekbench.
okay. I mean, I was gonna suggest something like Hugo, but sure, Geekbench. Why not?
What's Hugo?
It's a static website renderer.
Mm, okay.
It's fine.
Let's see. What I do want to do is Geekbench has ARM um,
So
Linux
you
build.
can actually do a side by side.
Yeah, it's a Geekbench 5 build. It's not this one. I have it, but it's not like public.
Okay.
So I'll have to grab that
You and
from NFS or
your
like
secret secrets.
connectors. Uh, oh yeah, sure. Let's call them that. Uh, I'm not uh, Nick Fury. My secrets don't have secrets.
Something someone who has secrets would say.
Let's see if this even fucking works. It's working.
Ooh. Hang on. I need to get my head out of the way again. I keep trying to find a place to put my head on your screen, and I can't.
I'll move it. I'll move it.
No,
I'll
no,
move
it's
it.
fine. Like the problem is not you. The problem is me. It's all good.
Security outputs. Oh man, I had like so the first time I was trying the Jetson out. Someone wrote a script called JTOP, which is basically all the Jetson performance counters.
Okay.
The script, or I don't know if it's the way those performance counters work, or if the crappy way that script is written, you get a significant performance drop if that script's running.
Hmm.
Like that's not
Uh,
supposed to happen.
No, usually not, but obviously something's up.
Like serious, like even on that script you can see the CPU, the GPU just drop to zero for a few seconds and come back up and then drop to zero. And you can feel that when you're running a game like mind test or something, it will be at 60 fps for like 2 seconds and then drop and then come back to 60.
Hmm.
And it was like messing with the benchmarks all over the place. So what it is stopping out the stuff.
Okay.
This might be even for the Twitter review. Should be nice.
Mm.
Oh, I know. And now people would want me to do it on the honeycomb. Fun. So you are supposed to be able to run Wine 64,
Uh huh.
and I'm wondering if I can run Crisis that way. There was a 64-bit build of Crisis. That's the ultimate goal on any new system. Does it run Crisis?
Yeah, well, so
Um,
I
and
don't know if you've heard the news, but apparently the new Crisis is the new Amazon game. What's the name of that? World's End, End
yeah,
Worlds. Yeah,
yeah,
it's blowing up
it's
graphics
that
cards all over the
bad.
place. Yes,
Uh,
Penny Arcade
I tried.
was
I
really
I tried
harsh
to run
about it
it
on their
on.
comic on Friday.
Yeah, I tried to run it on Proton. It was a complete fail. People have had success on Proton, but I don't see it. Apparently, AMD's Fidelity FX works fine on Proton. I
Yeah,
was
that
running a
is
game. I was like, that's an option there.
that doesn't entirely surprise me. Um, Giving all of the fun stuff that AMD has been working on, and that they're at the core of every single platform at this point, console platform, I should say.
Ooh, feisty hot. I'm surprised the fan hasn't kicked in yet.
That bad, huh?
Yeah,
I'm getting
it
errors that
will.
I'm out of random numbers, so I should probably put a random number generator in this thing. Let's see here. I have several of them sitting here. Here,
I
have
hope
some
I
random
didn't
numbers.
damage the cable,
Damage the cable. Which cable?
the fan cable.
Oh, yeah, that would be unfortunate. Oh yeah, yeah. It's much happier now. The chaos key sat there and fed it random numbers for like 3 seconds. So glad I have these. Oh, and it's doing it again. Yeah, this
Ah,
is chewing through some random numbers.
the fan came on.
Hey, that's a good sign that you didn't break the cable.
The what was I going to say? Yeah, it's weird seeing something that can sit on my desk a few inches cube and have 32 gigs of memory on it, and his arm.
Yes. Although, like to be fair, I had that experience because I put 32 gig in the honeycomb when I had it, because the
Yeah, but that doesn't take a few inches cube.
no, I did have it in a relatively small case though.
Yeah, I mean, I have 64 gig on it, but it's
You're
still
doing better than
on
me.
on desk thing, and it's large. It's not
Yes,
something I can just pick up with one hand.
true.
Uh,
I think I figured out why um,
I think if yep, go on. Sorry.
the other cello wasn't working. I don't think it has the firmware for the Realtek Phi on it. But that's an easy
Mm.
thing to fix at least. Maybe I can have two systems working. I should like copy that package onto a thumb drive that I can then copy over to it. That would be the smart thing to do, wouldn't it?
Okay, Jetson AGX.
Uh
CPU name is Intel Pentium 4.
huh. That's funny.
they should have like the next CPU from your performance and the last CPU from your performance in here. But
Wouldn't that be
let's just
nice?
go and like set baseline and see what we can run. We
Yeah,
can
like take a screenshot
compare
of
it
that or
to.
something.
Yeah, set baseline. What can I compare it to?
This thumbdrive apparently has weird stuff on it, so not that one. Let's try this one. Okay.
This seems comparable. At least I beat a first gen Core i7. No, did not. Did I? No.
Ah, there's the there's the files I'm looking for, I think. Partial. Oh, okay. Um, okay. I can do it this way. I have a different plan. It's a good plan, I think. Ah,
So I think Box X64 should bring about the end of Exagear, which I'm pretty happy about.
bring the end of which?
Exagear.
Executor. I don't think I know about that one.
Exagear was this x86 emulation thing. It's primarily targeted at PIs and then other SBCs. It was freaking quick. No one really
Hmm.
know how they did that shit.
Okay.
But then it was sold off to it. It completely went bankrupt because they never opened their stuff. They were riding high on thinking that they're running something super important. Um, and like people will buy licenses. No one ever did. Um, their license was super easy to crack, and um, they went bankrupt. Huawei bought their IP
Okay.
and ran Exagear exclusively licensed to Huawei
Of course.
servers. And then someone on the internet got hands on those, and we've tried that. It's okay, but it's very messy because it uses like it ch roots to like a CentOS 7
Hmm.
root FS, and then runs everything inside that ch root environment instead of using binfmt properly. So it was a mess, but that was what we had for a very long time.
Okay.
And I'm happy this exists now and it's working.
Yeah.
Right, time to test graphics. So there's this
Yeah.
benchmark. um
So
I'm thinking of.
since you're going to do that, you should be able to. I'm curious to see if the Xavier has NV Ink or not.
Ah,
And I'm trying to remember what is. Can you tell that from GLX info? I think you can. I think it shows up as a capability.
on GLX, I highly doubt that happens on GLX
Okay.
info.
Um,
um it No, that doesn't show it.
GStreamer info.
Mm,
Oh God, you're going straight to heaven.
hey, why not?
Why not, indeed? Oh wow,
Streamer, and then
I managed to go
see.
straight from Debian 9 to Debian 11 without any problems. That's amazing.
Oh, what's
Bravo, Debian team. Sorry, go on.
the GStreamer info. Is it GST launch, GST play? Which one
Oh
has it?
God, there's some way to get like. Hang on. Uh, Wiki Arch Linux. Uh, Somebody's talking to me. What do we got?
I'm wondering if I should just like bump this down a bit.
If you install the
Like,
GStreamer package,
uh huh.
then you should be able to use GST-discover. I think is what it's telling me.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Why does it say URLs?
Uh, do GST-inspect space VA API or GST-inspect space NV codec. Yep, NV codec. Oh, you've gone all blocky on us. No
Oh,
plugin for
because I
NV
think
codec.
the system is downloaded.
The package that needs to be installed
Oh,
is
I can just print all.
okay.
I saw a lot of NV stuff.
Yeah, that might just be like the Nvidia video formats. There's also an Nvidia utilities package.
Wait.
Let me see what this does.
NVV for L2, NVGL, NV
Tell me about this
Converter,
package. What's in it?
NV Videocon, NVEGL, NVV for L2. No, nothing on NVAC.
Try Nvidia-SMI.
Oh, no, this doesn't have NVIDIA SMI.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, maybe it does.
No,
What's NVINP util?
input parameters.
That doesn't help us. Okay, well,
You'll be like, probably like, become sick if you know how much custom NVIDIA stuff is running in the background on this.
oh, I'm kind of aware, unfortunately, and yes, it does make me slightly ill. Okay.
Alright, going to run Heaven. Let's see if it works.
Okay, I'm excited.
Verifying archive integrity.
Ooh. Oh, that doesn't look
And
happy.
installation. No. Installation
Oh,
is
installation is
complete.
complete.
Yeah.
All right, I have one system running Debian 11 on a cello. This is exciting. Can I get two systems running Debian 11 on cello? So I already know that I need to give it a crypto key. Oops, try and pull another one out of my magic box. There we go.
It's 64. It's 32-bit. That won't work.
Oh yeah. Um, what?
Valley should be.
Maybe?
Was it? Or superposition was 32-bit. Yes, superposition was 32-bit. Yes. No, sorry, 64-bit. That's a gig and a half of download, but who gives a shit?
Well, now that you have your super fast interconnection, correct. Also,
Is it
still
even
jealous.
downloading at
Just FYI.
superfast? No, it's not downloading at super fast speeds, so
Oh,
eh.
bad CDN.
Oh, dude, there's so much CDN issues.
Yeah, especially this week. Did you get caught up in the Slack trying to implement
Amazon one?
DNSSEC and failing debacle earlier this week?
No, 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 no. I got caught up into the AWS. A bunch of AWS stuff went down.
Oh yeah, yeah. There
Asian
were like
multinational.
two relatively major AWS outages this week. Neither of those were any fun.
I think build routes stuff fucked up
Yeah.
for a bit.
Build route is one of the things I need to put on these cellos. That's
Hmm.
part of what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I've apparently
Okay.
forgot the magic button
Um,
incantation. Oh, no, I didn't. It's good.
what else we can try? 686 Linux. 3064. Is there a specific game? Because I can't run Steam. That's 32 bits.
Right. Um, isn't the uh, modern Unreal Engine stuff, I believe, is 64-bit? And if
Yes.
memory serves, um, you can get uh, hang on one second.
Minecraft Linux.
Minecraft's an option. The other one that I was going to recommend was uh, the Half-Life 3 fan remake tech demo thing. I think that's
Yeah,
got a
Alice. What's the
the heck is the name of it? Um, Borealis. I think you can get Borealis Project, the tech demo slash benchmark, and I believe it's available for both, and it's 64-bit, and it's small. Did that mount? It looks like it did. Good.
No,
Okay.
I'm not going to run Java.
Yeah, because you're gonna need like OpenJDK and all that. Yeah, that's that way lies pain and suffering. All right, I have installed the firmware on the first cello board for the Realtek NIC, and if I'm very lucky, that's all it needed. All right, are you gonna try the ARM benchmark to see how it? Is that what you're looking up right now?
Yeah. I'll have to get that from. Wait, I'm just opening this one.
I'll go see if I can find the
I'm.
Borealis project stuff, and I'll give you a link.
Yeah.
Project Borealis updates. I do not see the NIC coming up. Yeah, no, the NIC is not coming up. Okay, so this is going to need like a USB NIC, which I have sitting right here. Let's see if I can recover this by plugging in a USB NIC. Ironically, I have installed the firmware for it.
Wait, they have one for Linux just 5 as well, dude.
They have one. Geekbench does?
Yes.
That's funny. All right.
If you want to download, that's like where it is.
Hang on a second. Okay. And P2S0. Yeah, okay.
I wonder if it's on 32 bit though.
I don't know.
No, they have ARC 64. That's good. Okay, it's running the tests now. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, look, I have
Keeping in
networking on
mind, there's
support now.
also
Sorry,
we
go ahead.
finally have network. I'm just saying there's the download going in the background as well, so
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if it affect it much, but
and I even have fancy things that I can stick into the network jack so that you cannot plug anything into it. So I'm going to try and do that as soon as I remember where I put my Kniff. There it is. I got these for equipment. They're basically just the heads of RJ45 connectors, but you can stick them in um, things like switches if you're putting them into environments like yours that are somewhat dusty. And then because they're just plastic, they prevent detritus from getting into your interface port. Um, but they're really easy to take out, and there's no electrical connection on them. So bonus. Oh, here, you need me to move up my window?
nope, I
Okay.
positioned it just right. I realized, like, huh, I have my camera on. Where the fuck am I?
It's okay. It all works.
David W has said anything in the chat. I've been doing so much AGX stuff. He
It's
hasn't
tr-
typed a thing.
it's terrifying. The repository is not updated because the keys are too old. Okay, I need to remember how to fix this. Uh, this poor system. Right, I was looking for project. Can you tell I have ADHD today? I haven't gotten anything done in like a complete thought. Tech demo download. Update for a tech demo, Project Borealis. Where is the download link? It's screenshot. No. Performance test. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay, here is. I'm going to send this to you in uh, Discord. But there is the performance test code for Project Borealis, both Windows and Linux. Although how
So on.
Farfignugan, it's it's not open source, so you wouldn't be able to recompile it. Never mind, that was a
Don't
bad
need
idea.
to. That's the magic of it. Okay, I'll test that in a second, but let's
Okay.
see what those long scores are.
All right. So in the meantime, I want. Uh,
The superposition download is done.
hey,
All
that's
right,
exciting.
so that's quite a drop.
Oh my!
Yeah,
So that's 250 and 1840 versus 529 and 3000. Okay. I mean,
there's a like proper
yeah, there's the
comparison.
side by side. That's not terrible for going through an emulation layer.
I guess.
You obviously disagree, but
Let's
that's fine.
run. Let's run superposition.
God, I hate this so much. That's what I want. doesn't have the thing, and I need the thing. Oh boy.
What is Chromium doing? Oh no, could not find or load the Qt platform plugin XCB libxcb.so.
The what now?
libqxcb.so. Oh, I've heard this one before. The problem is like DNF has a provides thing where I can just enter the file name
Okay.
and it'll search what packages provides that particular file.
Okay.
Apt doesn't have it.
It does. That would be apt-file space search.
Really?
Yep. There was a discussion about this in one of the Slacks that I used the other day. I need the Debian
Nope.
stretch. Is that file not installed? Yeah, it's a separate
Apt
package,
file
so
command.
app file may not be installed. There's another way to do it. Hang on a second. Search file. So you want to find the package that a file belongs to?
Mhm.
Okay, give me 1 second. I think. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, apt file is what you want. Apt-file, which you should be able to apt install apt file, but it's not installed by default. And then apt file search that file name. Archive keyring 9 ASC. Yeah, that's what I want.
Have you ever read about DXVK's linkable project? Well, it's not called the linkable project or anything, but
DXVK's linkable
um,
project. Off the top of my head,
so DXVK has launched or like has like s- an SDK of sorts where you can build your game
okay.
as an Linux binary, but it runs DXVK and Wine in the background, but as a part of its packaging. Like it's hard linked to it and like built into the
Weird.
binary, so that you only have to target DirectX and then you can run it anywhere.
Huh. I wonder if that is part of whatever we're calling Flatpak these days.
No, 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 no. This is
Okay.
different. This is different. This is Steam's doing. So what I think
Oh.
is, um, Steam might overtake or like improve upon DirectX to the point where you would need Proton libraries on Windows to make games run well.
Well, they are. I actually don't think they're going to necessarily do it with X. I think they're going to push Wayland forward because like they
No, no, no,
have
no, no.
so many core Wayland
I'm talking
people.
about DXVK.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, totally yes, because like, so the funny part is, since Microsoft has been hot and cold on DirectX, I would not at all be surprised if you wind up having to do that in order to be able to support stuff on modern hardware, because um, I don't think Microsoft can make DirectX 9 work on Windows 11.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said,
So
like
the
they
files are
they
already
discontinued. Like they
installed.
said, DirectX 11 was going to be the last DirectX, and then they went, oh wait, never mind. Like 2 years later, much like how they said the Windows 10 is going to be the last version of Windows, and then they went, oh wait, never mind. So like I'm kind of expecting that's going to be the case. Is that they're probably going to push to Vulkan or Metal or something like that, and then there's going to need to be something like DXVK in order to make it all work.
So the superposition stuff did not work. The library is installed on Linux on ARM as an
Uh,
ARM binary, but
Colonel Panic is asking if you're operating off of the SD card. Yes, at the moment he is operating off of the SD card because we don't have enough of the pieces in order to install on a file system that we trust on the NVMe drive.
oh, so wait, where did he?
He's in
Uh,
Twitch chat.
oh, okay. The it's running off of UFS or
Oh,
eMMC,
the
right?
UFS, so not the SD card. Okay, right, because that's got an actual UFS in it, unlike my Jetson, which does not. But I have a
Yeah.
good SD card in it, so that will be helpful, I hope. He's also suggesting that if you're having problems getting stuff starting, try using DL Open to see which lib it's failing about.
Oh, so I know the lib that's failing about, and that lib's present. It's just
Oh,
not picking up and translating that lib. So that's more of a box x64's problem.
or yeah, or it's a 32-bit
I'm
lib and it needs a
also
64-bit lib, or vice versa.
uh, I'm also like more hell bent on just making something work rather than sticking on to things that don't work right now.
Fair enough.
It says thanks for downloading. I'm blocking myself with my thing. Ah, wait. Just wondering where I should be. Right over Chrome. That's yep. I think I can. Yeah, I can show something. Okay. Ah, yeah, that's downloading.
So yeah, plugging in a USB NIC to this cello board was basically what it needed because it's thrilled now, which makes me happy. So I've got it up to the latest Debian 9, and now I'm going to just go do the Debian 11 update dance. So I've gotten really good at it. It's not hard. It's basically just replace instances of stretch
Ooh,
with
that's
bullseye.
OpenGL4. Well, it's doing something. I don't know what it's doing. It's doing something.
No, it's a start.
I don't see any graphical output.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
What else
And this was
Linux
the
is?
this is the Borealis performance test.
Yes,
Are you running the Windows version or the Linux version at the moment?
the Linux version.
Okay. So that one does go through Vulkan. Um,
It has OpenGL4 option as well, so I'm not
okay.
sure if it's translating everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
I think
David
I
W
literally
woke
have
up
got.
and said, "Only reason I haven't chatted more is I'm back to some Twitch issues with chat. But I sure hope you guys are recording because I got a lot of questions that we'll have to revisit." Yes, we are recording. We'll find a way to post it at some point. Google is still being mad at us. Um, was trying to find a 64-bit game for you to test, and he suggested Shadow of the Legends
Shadow Legends. Um,
or Shadow
yeah,
Legends, not Shadow of the Legends. Sorry, my bad. I can speak. I'm good at reading words, apparently.
I'm just thinking something that will not mess up, but it still has. 64 bit. Yeah, 64 bit binders. Um,
There's got to be something on like itch. But I can't think of anything
on
off the top of my head um, that has a native ARM 64 build and an x86 64 build.
no, I just want the x86 64 build. That's fine.
Ah,
I just need to try and run something. The other thing is I can try Gravity Bench
sure.
if I really want to test the GPU because that even has like the GLES
Yeah, go for
thing.
it. Not that kind of gravity bench, Google. Gravity Mark.
Yeah,
There
Gravity
we go.
Mark.
As opposed to
Google
gravity
has
bench.
been with me for so long, but it still doesn't really understand.
Maybe he's trying to tell you something. Oh, they have an ARM 64 version.
Yes, they do. They have both.
Oh, that's cool. I saw that
Okay, that's.
flash by quickly.
I have run it on a rather large number of systems.
Mm,
Not this one yet. Okay,
I'm
I'm not.
excited
I'm
to
not
see what
sure.
happens.
I think that the Half Life thing is not is unable to like open up a display and it's just like
Yeah,
running. So
apparently. That's unfortunate.
die. Thank you for being
It
dead.
is an old version of Unreal 4 at this point. Like
Yeah.
they released that performance test thing a while ago, and also it does a. It was also kind of weird because it would only do low quality mode in Linux because
Hmm.
that's all the because it was using Vulkan at the time, and for whatever reason, Unreal was like, yeah, no, you're only allowed low quality mode, which was weird. But look at that! I now have two working cello boards. Holy cow! It's just doing its manual page update. I'm just going to reboot it one last time quickly, and then I'm going to go see if I can get. I've got everything running on this. I've got an install on the the Jetson Nano, so I'm just going to go see if I can drop Plex on it and see if it just is happy. Also, I want to run Gravity Mark on it to see if I can get some infos.
Hmm.
Although I'm sure you've already done it, but I'm still curious.
So we go into Gravity Mark and then run gl.sh.
Is there a Vulkan version or is there just a GL version?
There's GLES, and then Vulkan.
And Vulkan, okay. I'm all about that
It
Vulkan life.
tried to open a window. It tried, but it just went
Uh-oh.
into unimplemented opcode.
Uh-oh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Is that the Did you download the x86 version?
Yes, this is the x86 version, and so I'm
Are you
running
trying to run it
everything.
with? Do you need to run it with the box? Oh,
It
oh,
tries to it tries to open and then just goes
and then it just
unimplemented
goes away.
opcode.
Hmm, that's unfortunate.
People have tried to run a few games. Like I've seen some info on it, but like it's not. It's either like you compile x86 compiled version of open source stuff or things
Hmm.
like that.
This does not give me
Uh-huh.
hope for running Gravity Mark on uh, this Jetson Nano once I switch over to it here in a minute.
No. I'm running the x86 version,
Oh
so
right, you're
that's
on the
what the
x86
opcode.
version. My bad.
The the ARM version should just run fine. Wait, I have run the ARM version. What the fuck am I talking about? I have run it. Why am I like this?
Same reason
See,
I am ADHD.
yeah. Yours is diagnosed, mine isn't. That's the difference. Yeah. See, I have the gravity mod thingy there on. I can run it on the mhm. Window. Let's go window. Why not? I yeah this yeah it has Vulkan, so it'll work. I have to say the performance is a bit less than what I expected, but fine, I guess. So that's the actual demo that I was just thinking that it should run.
that's
Okay.
a that's a slideshow, and I don't know if that's the codec or if that's.
Oh no,
Oh, it's
I'm getting
25
like
FPS. Okay, yeah,
55,
it's a slideshow.
52.
Okay,
It's
that's
fine.
fine.
It's fine on my.
Is it running two of them? Oh, you also have like Chrome doing stuff in the background, which is probably
Yeah.
not helping it. All right, I have two working cellos, and I'm so excited about this. I can build a build farm now. I just have to go to Best Buy and get some Samsung hard drives, but I can live with these Patriot ones that I have for now. But so much better. All right, get this power supply out of the way. I also need to go find the other one so I can plug it in. Those cellos also take a crap load of power. Like I have 12 volt, 7 amp power supplies for them, which is just knucking futz, but it is what it is. All right,
I'll just give Minecraft a try.
there you go. Is Minecraft 64-bit though? I didn't think it
Mm,
was.
we'll see.
And you do not need to do all the Java stuff because it comes with its own Java. FYI.
I sure hope so.
It does. Like, it's actually a
Okay.
major problem now
Um.
because you have to, if you're using any of the mod things, you have to, you have to do the legwork of, oh right, and you have to log in with a Microsoft account.
Yeah. Can you disable my screen share? Because if I
I
disable
can.
my yeah,
Hang
because
on one
if I
second.
disable my screen share,
Yeah, no, it's fine. Hang on. I
I
am.
mean, I,
Oh,
I, I
just me.
that's the only output I have. I don't have enough.
That's all
Oh
good. Give me
wait,
a
you don't
second.
have to
I have.
disable my. Wait.
Boom.
Did
It's
you
all good.
already do it? Oh, you did it. Okay.
All right. So
No.
video stuff things. I don't need that anymore. I need to switch this over to different inputs. That's input 3. Oops, wrong one. 2-minute remotes. 3. All right. And then network Ethernet. Get that Ethernet cable out of the way. And so at this point, I should just be able to plug this in.
Okay, I'm logged in.
Okay, hang on. I have green light. That's a good sign. this, and then I do
I
this.
don't think I logged in with the correct account, so now.
That's fine.
Eh.
Let me know when it's safe. Hey, I've got
Oh
stuff
yeah,
happening.
yeah, it's safe. It's safe. It's
Okay.
fine.
Let me. If I do that and then transition, cool. I'll let you work on that while I'm booting this up. I need to move things over so that they can be seen. Hey, look, the keyboard and the mouse work. Amazing. What password did I put on this machine when I built it oh so many years ago? Not that one. Or that one. Or that one. Okay. There we go. Of course, I realized I was showing everyone the keyboard as I'm typing my password, but oh well.
Typing a bunch of your passwords.
All right, so I'm running in Max.
Time for truth. Is it 64-bit?
Oh, we're almost out of time.
It is.
Wow.
Ah, will it work?
Where is? Nope. Nope.
Oh, why?
Nope. Where did I put the thing that has us? Oh, FS matrix A. Duh. And I don't need the window capture. And does it have the audio? No, it does not. But I can fix that by putting in the audio because I am a professional. And now we can be heard when I transition to this. Okay, so this is my Jetson.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go see if I can get some information on NVIDIA detector. What does NVIDIA detector do? It says none twice. That's super helpful. Thanks, NVIDIA. Ah, cool, cool.
By the way, David W, you can put your questions on Discord. I just
Yes,
realized that now.
we yeah. One of us is on Discord. I am not at the moment, but it is my intention. So, like I said, this is not the we were not planning on doing all of this this week, but it is my hope before the next stream to actually set up a Discord server and get it linked um, between chat and here, so that we have a place to put stuff and to put notes and all of that jazz. We might even come up with a shared instance of what is it? Hey, that would be a smart idea of me if I just did this.
I wonder if I can just install the AMD 64 version of these packages,
That would have been way better. I don't know.
because DPKG you can add an architecture. So APT add AMD 64,
That's true. Yes, you
and
can
I
do
can
that.
do that, which is actually not that easy
Let me switch back over
on
to your thing.
Fedora. Like, it's not easy to have a secondary architecture binary hosted.
Yeah, that is one of the things that Debian got right, mainly because Debian had more architectures a long time ago. Downloading Gravity Mark is painfully slow here in the US. Just FYI.
How much are you getting?
250 kilobytes a second.
No way.
But that also could be because I'm running off of an SD card, so I don't know. In the meantime, let me go see what I can find about. Um, can I get like the NVIDIA tools stuff? Oh. NVIDIA Prime, NVIDIA OpenVC, NVIDIA Tensor RT. Ooh. Uh,
I think if this is the problem, this ends up being the problem. Might be able to run the super position demo as well,
Okay.
but we'll see.
We'll see in a second. Yeah. Bumblebee Conky. Huh, Conky. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. All right. Jetpack
Exactly, I was
Conky.
about to say that.
Uh, NVIDIA container stack.
Everything went no, yeah. Conky was the widget stuff. Even comp is I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. Well, Compiz died.
Yeah,
It
like
did not make
everything
it.
I don't know what OS I was running, what distro I was running on at that time, but it was decked out with Conky and Compass shit. Like,
Nice. Uh,
why can't it find?
VDPow info. So let's do that. apt install VDPow info. What was the other? Oh, it was right. NVIDIA settings. One or both of those should tell me what I want to know. Helps if I spell VDPow correctly. Ooh, that's a lot of packages. Or it's not. I don't know. Oh, that's a lot of stuff that it says I can uninstall. Cool. All right, let's find out. VDPow info cannot open VDPow NVIDIA SO no such file or directory. Okay. Search. VDPow driver all. If I remember correctly, you have to do something incredibly silly like install VDPow VA driver, because I think uh, NVIDIA didn't support VDPow, they just do VA. Let's find out. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't care. VDPow info. Still can't find VDPow NVIDIA. Do I need to be root? Nope. VDPow NVIDIA. Drive all. DevDoc VHEL. Power driver. VDPow 1. Okay. Let's just do this. Apt update. You obviously need it. Oh, this is the old version. Ew. Okay. So I'm going to stop trying to download that file there. I'm going to go download the Gravity Mark stuff on a different computer. And then I need to go get the new version of Linux for Tegra that actually has everything in packages instead of it all being miscellaneous BS all over the place. I remember that now. Give me this. Copy link location. Get that, please. Oops, right. Windows is different. Okay, I'm going to say that the problem of the write speed was the SD card, because I just went and did it on another computer on the same internet connection, and I got it at 45 megasecond. All right, it is 10 past the hour, so we should probably wrap up, I guess.
yeah.
Unless, what are you up to? What do you got left?
I'm trying to set up the multi arc stuff, but it doesn't look Ubuntu is very happy with giving me both of them. So I'll have to figure
Okay.
it out because I know it's easy to do in Debian based stuff.
Okay.
Um, and I think for that matter, I'll even install like Debian on the Honeycomb when I try to do this. But
This looks like
we'll
an
see.
ancient version of Linux for Tegra because it's got an older kernel than the one I'm currently running. Uh,
What kernel is it?
so the one that's on the machine is 4.9. Oh yeah,
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 that's the latest.
right. And that's part of Jetpack 4.6,
That's the latest.
which is no. Yeah, I don't know what version I'm running. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's old. I know that much. SD card image method, and then the Nvidia SDK manager method. This is the one that's moved everything to. So hang on. Package minus L, grab jet.
It's not even finding the IP on my end. So not sure what's happening with the repositories here.
Which version of?
Oh, you can actually go
32.
into you can figure out from the app sources
Okay.
or not.
I'm
No.
looking. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think mine is so old that I actually can't. We'll see here. Okay, NVIDIA L4T app source 32.4. So yeah, a little old.
And mine says 32.6.
Okay. Yeah, so you have the latest one, and mine just doesn't have Jetpack 4.6. So but that's fine. I can download the SD card image. Oh no, do I have the 2 gig version or the non 2 gig version? Oh no, I have the 4 gig version. All right, download SD card image, and then I can
Oh, I need to add
search that.
completely new. Yeah, this will take a while. I have to add completely new sources for AMD 64 Ubuntu repository. Um,
Mm,
so yeah,
okay. Cool. Oh, 32.6 is good for you because it gives you the 20-watt mode on the Zephyr NX. So there you go. Uh, it's got an
I'm running
over-the-air
it at
update
90
tool. It's got a new
watts.
flashing tool. Wow, look at all these wonderful things. Supports encrypted media, Tensor RT, CUDA, multimedia API. The multimedia API is probably what's going to have NVINC if it has NVINC. Uh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to upgrade to this and then see if that will give me what I want, and then I can go from there. I will post updates on Twitter. Cool. Anything else that
Yep.
you want to chat, do, show before we wrap up? Because we are over, but that's fine.
No, pretty much it on my end.
All right. Cool. Well then, Sahaj, as always, a pleasure. For those who
Yep.
missed
Same
the
here.
thing before, the calendar on the website is up to date, but we're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off, and then we're back on the regular every other week cadence, and hopefully we will have music figured out. I will figure out how to make my green screen work, and various other odds and ends between now and then. So otherwise, have a great day, everyone.